Hello and welcome to another update video about Ethereum. We've got a similar situation to Bitcoin in that we see here a series of so-called 1-2 setups. So we're definitely in a short-term uptrend. 1-2, we've got here a 1-2, here another 1-2. And we're now about to create and finish off this third wave, hopefully. So that is what we need to do. Yesterday we pushed above this resistance area. We talked about this inverse head and shoulders for a while now. Seems to me that the neckline here was broken. It's not a beautiful head and shoulders inverse, but it is one, and it should take us, if it works out, into the region of around $1,500. The Elliott Wave count also at the moment suggests higher, as long as certain support levels are holding, which I'm going to mention to you. So these are really important, because if this support level that I'm going to mention to you is breaking, it could really be an issue to the overall assumption, and we may come down earlier than expected, because what we've got here could easily be seen as a WXY pattern as well. So I mentioned that to you earlier, that ideally this is an ABC, A, B, C, and the C wave is a 5-wave move. 1, 2, the 3 will be up there somewhere, 4 and 5, and the wave 3 in itself consists of 5 subwaves, of course, 1, 2, and then ideally, where are we, 1, 2, we should now be in the 3, 4, and 5 should be happening, right? So an ABC in the C wave, we should push higher in 5 waves. However, that was also the my concern when we were here, that we had 3 waves in place, which means this could have been a finished move. That's why I had on here top in place question mark, because we had enough waves for a corrective wave pattern here. It's the same thing now. We've got enough waves for a corrective pattern, but ideally we push higher, and that would be my primary expectation. It's only that if we break below a certain support level, we're probably gonna come down further, and maybe even down to $1,000 or below. Also depending a little bit on what Bitcoin is doing then, because Bitcoin has the same situation. If on the Bitcoin chart we drop below 16.3k, my view at the moment is that we should go and see the 14 to 14.5k region if that happens. But at the moment I'm looking at short-term upside. I mean, the CPI data kind of supports that from yesterday. You know that we, for the last couple of weeks, were looking at higher prices, and this has now been fulfilled. But I still think we should push higher, ideally in this wave pattern. So let's zoom into the lower level detail here. And after yesterday's pump fueled by the CPI data, we obviously came down a bit. We sold off. And that is where I made my video yesterday, around 13.10. I told you ideally it doesn't drop below it now, because if it did, then we would have probably a problem with a higher level count here. Now, luckily, it did recover. It did reverse, but this is not convincing yet. I mean, as you can clearly see, this is just sort of, how do you call that? A corrective mess. It's a lot of overlaps. I mean, this could become something bullish, as it did down here. This was quite similar, but it's not high confidence at this stage until we see something as clear as this, like a 1-2 setup. We don't really have that yet. What we need is to push higher in wave 5, break above 1345, which was important resistance as well, because if we zoom out a little bit, you can see that this is exactly the resistance level, or the high, from the 10th of November. So this was short-term resistance, so hopefully we push above this. That's what we need to overcome now, next. I mean, we already broke all of these resistances here, Ethereum broke through it like a knife through butter yesterday, which is always a good sign. But now we need to break the next resistance level here at 1345. That's what happens, you move from resistance to resistance in an attempt to flip them for support, and then you move higher. Okay, but the idea is now that we are in this third wave to the upside. Here we only have 3 waves so far. We don't have 5. We need a 5th wave to the upside to get more confidence in this wave count. We already have in this subdivision here a wave 1 done, a wave 2, here a wave 3, and ideally this was the 4, and we're now pushing higher. However, I don't have strong evidence yet that we are pushing higher in a 5th wave, because this is, corrective mess, and could easily just be a B wave or something. Or, I mean, it could be, let's talk options here so that you know what what could be coming. Let me just move these across here a little bit. Something we always have to do. So just roughly here. So one option, and the way this looks, this is not an unlikely one, we would have an A, B, C pattern. Problem with this count is, and I explained the same issue on the Bitcoin chart, is that if we drop much more in wave C, we're dropping basically too much for a fourth wave. So we theoretically have space all the way down to 1301, or let's call it $1,300. But if we drop below that, which is a 50% Fibonacci retracement, we're dropping too far, and it would create problems for the higher level count. We could then still assume that we have a 1-2-1-2 setup, where we're retracing more in a wave 2. For example, if we come down a bit lower, maybe to the 61.8 or 78.6% Fib level at 1276, from looking at the pattern, that actually seems likely. But having a 1-2-1-2 setup here, again, it's just getting unrealistic. You know, you have too many 1-2s in there, and I don't like adding another 1-2 setup in such an uptrend because it always reduces the reliability of the count. So ideally, we don't go below 1301. We need to hold it, yeah, to maintain the current count and the imminent upside potential. Now, I think best would be, because this is not yet impulsive to the upside, I think the best scenario here for Ethereum, and I think it's probably for Bitcoin as well, best scenario would be if this is just some kind of an Elliott Wave triangle, yeah, that we do something like this here, A, B, C, D, E, and that we will then break to the upside, because the move up so far is corrective. Now, if the next move down is corrective as well, it will point towards a triangle pattern. That happens quite frequently in wave 4. And would be quite good, because in a triangle pattern we would not be at risk of dropping below 1301. Well, we still have the risk, but the triangle itself, in an ABC pattern, let me just move that across in parallel. In an ABC pattern, we would move down lower with a C wave, yeah, and the C wave would most likely go below 1301. The reason is that the C wave needs to have a certain length, and the wave A was already quite long. But in a triangle, all of these subdivisions, first of all, they have to stay above the A wave and below the B wave. And then we would eventually break here to the upside, to the opposite side of the wave E. So we'll see how the day will develop. It all depends on the next retracement down here in a C wave. I will keep you updated, of course. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.